getting ready for the heat of summer. So, hope everybody stays hydrated, takes care of themselves. Listen, I sent out a tweet about 15 minutes ago saying tonight was kind of going to be a open mic night, right? There isn't that many huge impactful stories that have happened this particular week. So, when Montel does join, we will talk about the Deshaun Watson stuff. We will talk a little bit about the Brittany Griner, but um, as far as those large encompassing stories that we typically talk about, knock on wood, it's actually been kind of a slow week in the world of sports and the social impact that surrounds that. So that's a good thing, right? We don't have a whole bunch of negativity going on in sports. We got a whole lot of other stuff going on around this country that we can talk about. That we can talk about that on another show for sure. But I'll leave that for another day. Um, Listen, if you got something you want to talk about, drop it in the comments. If you actually want to come on camera, hold up, wait a minute. Let me drop this link on here, right? I'll let you come on camera tonight. And let's chop it up about anything that you find or feel relevant within the world of sports. And again, as it relates to society, um, I should have been watching hockey, right? Because I guess the Stanley Cup is done, and I feel really bad that I didn't watch that. That because that's the sport that I've been trying to um, get to know better, especially the rules. And listen, I was in Portland all week, so shouts out to OSU, Oregon State University, got the home of the Beavers. Was there checking out the campus with my son. He's going to be there in the fall. Corvallis is dope. Let's see, Portland is dope. What else is dope? Newport. Shouts out to Newport, right there on the coast of Oregon. So we went and spent some time there too. So I think he's gonna be pretty good there. The problem that me and my wife are gonna have, that's not really a problem, but they're both D1 schools in the Pac-12, and they play each other. UCLA and Oregon State University play each other. I'm gonna be rocking both teams' gear, of course, for all the games that I go to, but uh, we'll see how that rivalry matches itself within this household when those two teams do play. So, uh, yeah, really, really excited for that to all come to fruition. We will be empty nesters, but looking forward to both kids being in higher education and moving on and starting to chart their own path. So let's see what we got here. Again, I see folks joining. Appreciate you. Montel's going to join in a little bit, and we'll kick off with the rest of the show. But I really wanted to be attentive and be respectful of everyone's time and start on time. Again, it's kind of an open mic night tonight in terms of there weren't really that many large, impactful stories that we were going to cover. So really going to leave it open to kind of a crowd-sourced conversation. So we can get into that if you want to. Type it into the chat. Type it into. I got my IM open, so if you want to see me in an instant message, or I got the link up, so if you want to join on camera, don't be shy. Listen. This is Ecamm. I can make you look good from either side. Don't trip. All right. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Let me see. See, nobody's playing right now. The only thing that's happening that I'm aware of. Okay, I know we had the draft. We had the draft, the NBA draft. Um, I know that nobody wanted Kyrie, which is a shame. Um, which is kind of funny as well. But no, nobody wanted Kyrie, so he's going back to Brooklyn. A lot of the commentary right now is, okay, Kyrie, are you going to show up? Right? Are you going to show up, and are you going to play? Hold on, these comments coming in. Oh my gosh, that's way too big. This is good. I see you, Mama. Hold on. Let me adjust this here because there we go. Let me see what that looks like when I put that on screen. Hold up. Wait a minute. There we go. I got all kind of new gear running right now. I got new audio mixers running. I got a lot of new a lot of new stuff in the studio right now, a new angle that I'm looking at, so I got to get my stuff dialed in here. So forgive me for being showing how the sausage is made, right, with all these administrative tasks. Yeah, ma, they are D1 schools in the Pac-12, and they play each other. So that'll be great rivalry to see. Looking forward to it. They both do really well, especially in well, Oregon State does better, I think, in baseball than UCLA. UCLA is very good with their basketball program, and everyone knows the UCLA gymnastics program, especially on the women's side. They just dominant, right? They out there killing folks. So definitely going to be looking forward to that. But back to the NBA draft, Kyrie going back to Brooklyn. We'll see how that works out. I did see also that the Lakers have picked up who was that? They picked up Shaq's son, and they've picked up who was the other guy? They picked up Shaq's son and Scottie Pippen's son. All right, so a couple of interesting prospects, young cats coming from a decent pedigree. So Shaq's son and Scottie Pippen's son have been signed by the Lakers, and we'll see how that works out. I'm going in and out, and you say, okay, talk to all right, so that's good to know. Appreciate the feedback because again, like I say, I'm using some new gear here, and I want to make sure that that's right. Uh, how about how about now? Talk to me about the audio right now. Am I still going in and out? Because that's definitely I definitely can't have that happening. I got a major interview coming up tomorrow, and I want to make sure that all my T's are crossed and I's are dotted, kind of thing. Check, check, 1 2 1 2. Talk to me. Am I coming in clear? I know the video feed is looking good, and in my monitors, in my ear, I sound right. But if it's coming in garbled or it's coming in um not clear for you guys out there, I definitely want to take care of that and make sure that that's right. So let me know, folks out there watching and listening, how things are going right now. Appreciate that. And really, again, I'm just stalling. The man he's on the 405. Anyone has ever driven in Los Angeles knows that I-5 and the 405 are brutal. So my sound is still not good. It's chopped. Okay. See what we got here. Roadcaster Pro 2 chat is active. That fader is up and that channel is right. So, man, that's going to be a problem, folks. That's going to be a problem. Let me see here. Take a look at my audio preferences, speaker, RCP2 chat. Hold up. How about now? Let me know if my audio is correct now. I made a slight adjustment to the config, and I think that would be, yeah, I think that should do it right for us. Pausing. Well, I'm pausing, right? So I'm I'm talking slow on purpose. So let me see here. Echo cancellation, audio, speakers, chat, output, chat. And there we go right there. There's Montel coming in. I see him. I see your brother. I'm just sitting here messing around, talking to folks. Sounds like I'm having some audio issues. So hopefully your audio is decent while I bring you on the screen when I try to get this figured out. So let me bring you on, man. I see you over there manipulating. Oh, he's outside. He hadn't even got in the house yet.
And wanted to make sure I get a hold of everybody, see how everybody's doing. Sorry for joining late, everyone.
Listen, man, you're on the move, you're on the go. What state are you in? Talk to me. You in California?
Yeah, still in California, still doing my thing. Had to run right to the airport, and it's all kind of construction and all stuff that we didn't
Yeah.
anticipate.
Okay.
Just got
Okay.
to kind of do it, kind of just running around in circles. But can't miss Team No Sleep,
God,
no matter what.
hey, team no sleep. I'm saying, let's see. When you talk, you get cut off. So I've got something going on my side. It's probably my noise gate that's cutting in and out. I'm gonna have to adjust that uh, later on tonight for sure. Listen, I told folks that it was kind of open mic. Didn't have
Okay.
as many pressing stories like we typically have. The fact that nothing major, massive happens in the sports world necessarily this week. We got things happening outside of the sports world.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
that
I mean,
we could
we got the
definitely
way.
chime into, but
Yeah, that Wade versus Roe situation is just,
yeah,
I don't know, man. That's something that we as a society need to really come together and figure out. It seems like we're doing, there's a lot of things going on with that, and I feel bad, man. That there's somebody determine what a woman's supposed to do with her body. That's just crazy to me.
yeah. Some old dudes too, right? Sitting at again, we can have that discussion if y'all want to, but again, that's a different topic for a different show. But that's kind of where a lot of hearts and minds are. And at the start, I started to say get ready for the holiday, but I don't know, a lot of folks are really thinking about celebrate. I had
I
that.
think there's gonna be a lot of. I think there's gonna be a lot of protesting on this weekend, and I believe what's just the ironic thing that's crazy to me
Yeah,
is how can you have the abortion, the Roe versus Wade overturn that and be pro life,
yeah,
but then also be for the death penalty.
you know,
I mean, that's like isn't that like the opposite thing? You're pro life when it comes to determining what women can do with their bodies and all that stuff, but then you're gonna be, you're also for the death penalty. So you're for killing people,
hmm
and you also for then you said you also for saving lives. So I'm not quite sure what's going on.
something ain't working right. Something, something doesn't compute. Like Prince said in his song, right? Something doesn't compute. So I don't know, man. Um, let me. Can you hear me? Okay, I want to make.
I can hear you. You're a little echoey, but I can hear you definitely.
Wow, I'm echoing. Okay, that's definitely not good. That's again, I got some new high end gear here, and and I didn't read the instructions because I thought I knew what I was doing. um, but that's all right too. That's all right. Let me make this announcement too. So starting actually tonight, Team No Sleep is going to be broadcasting solely on the Team No Sleep YouTube page.
Mhm.
Yeah, we gonna take over the world right there on that channel, and that's going to be the exclusive location for all this content. So make sure you subscribe to the Team No Sleep website, YouTube page. Montel and I will still push it out on our Facebook and our Twitter, things like that. But yeah, as far as content on YouTube, it is definitely going to be on the Team No Sleep YouTube page. So yeah, I put the link.
Yeah, man. I think just because we got some big things going on, and we're kind of starting to carve our own niche in this podcast game.
Yeah,
By the topics we talk about, and the way we approach things. I think that's probably the best mechanism for us to have our own channel and kind of be able to not only do our show, but also do tidbits and little snippets
yes,
of
sir.
what's coming up to be able to have. I mean, we're starting to get a lot of great guests on the show. Like last week we had Akili Smith,
Yeah,
former NFL player, and I think we're going to continue to be able to stay on that line of getting guests like that, and I think we're gonna be all right, man. I think
we gonna be.
we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right with that channel.
Yeah,
I think
we gonna keep hitting them for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be.
what's crazy, man. I think this is a good show to reflect kind of like what we've been doing, all the shows we've done in the past, the kind of
Yeah.
things we've been talking about and topics. It's like we've been spot on a lot of things. Like just for instance, like the Texas thing with Deshaun Watson. We see situations going on, but I called it, I don't know how many weeks ago, that the Texans should be charged just like Watson. And sure enough, the Texans are being charged. They filed some lawsuits against those guys, against the team as well, to make sure, because they like they said, they enabled him to do those activities that he did. So
Mhm.
Um, I mean, that's one instance that came. I mean, we predicted a couple of other things too. This came to kind of fruition.
I
So,
tell everybody all the time, right, that we started the conversation about NIL, right?
yep.
I say we hit it day zero before it hit the streets and before anyone was thinking about not just the monetary side, but you kept hitting and talking about, hey, you got to look at the social side. You got to look at again, folks coming up, and now they got a pocket full of cash. So safety. I mean, we talked
Yep.
about that a lot. We talked a lot about. Unfortunately, we had to talk about a lot about domestic violence and
Hmm.
how it relates into sports, and we're seeing so many stories, too many stories about um, things happening in relationships, right? So I mean,
Yeah. I
not
think we
just
were.
just
I think even to piggyback over that, we're the first to kind of go in depth about mental health,
yeah,
regarding athletes,
yeah,
student athletes, which is becoming more and more prevalent. I mean, as we saw with when the Saki with Sissoko,
yeah, Naomi,
we're
yeah,
seeing it
Naomi,
now.
yeah,
Or Martell Irby of UCLA, a football player there, is going into his senior year. He said, "I'm hanging it up because of mental health issues."
yeah,
I think we're starting to see a lot of more of that coming out. Also believe that even just on the transgender thing, how we were talking about how there needs to be banned or how they need to curb that, and now they're banning the young man, young lady from now participating in collegiate sports,
yeah,
against other
yeah.
women.
So think about that, because again, that was one of these awkward conversations, right? And but we
Mhm.
had that, and we were talking the situation and saying that, man, you got an unfair advantage, right?
Yep.
You transition and you did it at a point when you were past puberty. So, bruh, sorry, you just longer, stronger, leaner, meaner than anyone else. So,
Hmm.
and then the other states started coming out and saying, "Hey, we can't do it either." This was interesting because we brought this up during the conversation. I'm looking at the story right now. It's saying that the organization that has World Swimming bans transgender athletes from women's events, but they are also proposing open competition
Yep.
categories. Right?
Yep.
That's what we talked about. We talked about
Yeah.
kind of a co-ed, just something. If you want to get out there and compete, cool. But
Yeah.
you're not going in the women's locker room, and
Hmm.
and you're not going to compete for that particular title or that particular ribbon or belt. But yeah, we
Yeah.
can have a co-ed squad.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I think there's got to be an open division for them to participate in because
mm,
we don't want to exclude them from sports. It's just that you can't be in a sport where you have an unfair advantage
yeah,
because in essence that's just cheating. You can't do that. So I think they're hitting points to get it right. I think we hit it first as we were brainstorming different ideas about it. And we'll continue to do that on Team No Sleep. I think we'll hit the harder subjects and have those kind of discussions to be able to bring it out. And the best way to solve these issues is to have that dialogue. And I always say see through other people's lenses. If we can see through your lens and kind of get where you're coming from, we can always kind of come to some type of resolution or agreement.
definitely, definitely. Um, Thank you. I see the comment there. It says we sound good, but when I speak, I'm getting cut in and out, like, because you pause now and then during when I'm talking. So I'm gonna be up all night trying to. Listen, team no sleep for sure. I'm gonna be up all
Yeah,
night dialing
yeah.
it in, making sure that we sound right from that side. Um, what else did we get into, man? We got into
I think we've been the first ones on the Brittany Griner thing as far as talking
yeah,
about how there should be
yeah,
more support for her. I mean, I think we've always touched. I wouldn't say we were always the first to expose it, but we're always the first to kind of deep dive into it a
yeah,
little bit more than the average Joe, than just reporting the stories. Kind of like, how does it have an impact on us as a whole, or the athletes, or as a society? And I think we've touched bases on those things more so than anybody because they kind of gloss over the story, right? They just report it, give you the news, and kind of go into it. We've been able to, how do we feel personally? How do we think we should feel collectively?
hmm
And keep it pushing. Those things I think what makes our podcast completely different than everybody else's.
I agree.
They just want to report the story. We want to deep dive and figure out what's kind of going on and what's causing it. Even from the mass shooting things that's been going on to, like I said, to Brittany Griner, to everything
Yeah,
that goes along with sports. We've kind of always deep dived into what's going on, and I think we're still going to continue to deep dive,
yeah,
in these situations. I mean, we've always looked at the Deshaun Watson from one sided. we haven't looked at it from, the gold digger side, right? Because there are some of those women I think that are gold digging.
You know,
They're,
that may be
you
some of the that may be 20 of the 24. We don't know that
yes,
that have already
yes,
settled. We don't know.
yeah,
They got their check.
you know,
So I mean,
yeah. We're always labeling him as guilty. We know he has issues, he has problems. But we haven't looked at it as somebody just trying to, basically, not blackmail him, but basically get money out of him
hmm
from his situation. Regardless of regardless of how that thing all plays out. But I think that's where our uniqueness is in this podcast game is we got to continue just to deep dive into those uncomfortable stories
yeah.
and have that uncomfortable dialogue and also bring awareness to a lot of different things that aren't out there.
Yeah, we
That's
talk about it when it's no longer sexy, right? When
yeah,
it's no longer on front page, when it probably should be. But yeah,
yep.
we still bring it up and make folks think about it. So that I like. I always love late after our show when I turn on ESPN radio and I swear they say verbatim what we talk about on our show. I said, man, y'all ESPN listening to our stream and not giving us our credit. You better give us our flowers,
Well,
sponsorship or
it's
an
funny.
endorsement or something.
We're a team of two, and they're a team of what 2,000,
You know,
right?
like yeah, yeah. They
So
don't have to answer to us, but that's all right. That's all right.
yeah, but I'm saying they can filter every podcast
hmm
out there and figure out what's going on to catch a tidbit to be able to reiterate it. So, I'm a big fan of E40. What this is, imitation is flattering. Why, if you want to emulate us and intimidate us, then that's flattery as far as I'm concerned.
Do what you
Because
gotta do.
yeah, we bring just a unique perspective to different things, man. I think that's always going to continue. I think that we just got to be able to continue to find those nitpick stories and stories that I don't like the popular stories because everybody knows this. I want to find those unpopular stories. I
Yeah,
want to be able to continue to deep dive into those things and kind of figure out. I'm really interested in what's going to happen to this Brittany Griner thing with this case. They're charging her with what drug smuggling, which is crazy. To me that they want to charge her with that drug trafficking. Excuse me, drug smuggling,
drug
drug
trafficking.
trafficking.
Yeah,
That's just bizarre to me, man. I really I don't see how they could get that with cannabis oil in your bag, but you know, it's heightened because of the situation what's going on in Ukraine, obviously. And I'm really disappointed, as we all are in different situations, but especially situations where the U.S. hasn't stepped in some form or fashion to be able to help get her out of this
yeah.
situation.
And they haven't gone out there and do what they needed. Yeah, that's true. They need
And,
to do.
my quote to you was when the first day was happening. If the situation was reversed and that was LeBron James held in there,
hmm hmm
he'd have been out. He'd have been out. He would have been out 3 months ago.
There'd have been
He wouldn't have been. Matter of fact,
helicopters
he wouldn't even been arrested. He would have been able to go on through and been fine.
yeah,
But since it's a WNBA person, and I hate to say it, but and she's African American, and the fact that she's LGBT,
hmm
um, all those things kind of knock. I hate to say it, but knocks against her in a situation where I don't think there's been so much forthright, effort to go get her right away.
yeah. Not enough. Well, you think about it. Not enough attention is being paid or has been paid, and it kind
Mhm.
of it's not just us saying it, folks. Just look at the incident that happened when they were supposed to have the phone call
Yeah,
last week, right? Oh, nobody was at the desk in the State Department to broker the phone call, right? So they're not taking care of the little things that matter because, and again, I don't want to stereotype and I don't want to assume or judge, but just the writing's on the wall, and nobody was manning the desk to pick up the phone from the United States to Russia to allow these two ladies to have their phone call.
yeah, that's sad.
You
That's
can't let
actually
stuff like
sad.
that slip through the cracks. Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot, or I was in the bathroom, or whatever. Come on now. This is
yeah, yeah,
so.
yeah. On some other news outside of sports,
Come
man.
on now.
My heart goes out to those people in San Antonio. That
The
the 46
train.
people that died. Yeah, that died in that truck. Obviously, and I mean, obviously they were being brought over here maybe illegally, but no one deserves to be in that situation, regardless.
hmm
I don't care if you're a illegal or a legal immigrant trying to come to this country. Obviously, they were trying to come over here to better themselves and better their lives. They took a chance of an opportunity to come over
Right.
here, and unfortunately, they lost their lives being cooked to death in that
Yeah.
truck. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
my heart goes out to those people, those families. and everyone that's involved in that situation, man. That's just a hard to me. That's just hard to swallow. That's
Yeah,
humanity
yeah.
issue that we
You
never
never want someone to go and like that, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
just that's brutal, right, man? That's horrible. I thought you were talking about the Amtrak train initially that
yeah, I feel so. Yeah,
derailed.
for those people
I
too.
mean,
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
things are happening, man. Golly, but yeah,
yeah.
that whole situation of folks trying to come over here to start over, try to do better,
Hmm.
try to come
Yeah.
to the land of promise, and yeah, just ends up
And,
tragically like that. So
and I want to bring some light also to that. I really have a big problem with the way they label them. You know, they illegal immigrants trying to be smuggled over here or whatnot.
hmm
But yet the same title is for Ukrainians that are coming over here right now. I know they're running away from war, running from away from these situations, but again, you're not a legal immigrant or resident of the United States.
yeah,
But it's okay for you to come over here because you're being welcome to come over here. The door is open for you to come over here, and the door is not being open for those immigrants coming over who also are trying to make a better life for themselves. So it's kind of a double-edged sword that the U.S. has always been like that, kind of going through.
yeah,
But now I think it's more in the forefront. No one ever talks about it. No one says anything about it. Everyone says, "Hey, Ukraine, they're welcome to cover. They're running from war." Well, so were the Haitian immigrants that were running from war in their country trying to get over here. So were these people that were maybe running from war. That's a war between military, but it's a war through cartels and situations in their country where they're trying to get over here
yeah,
and make better ways for themselves and for their lives. And yet we shun them away. Right? I don't know why. It can't be economics, and it can't be. So my only conclusion could be pigmentation in the skin color and lack of
wow,
language.
hmm
Just call it what it is. They get shunned and turned away, where others get allowed in here when their pigmentation is not like lighter, and they're able to assimilate into society a little bit more easier without having that color barrier. So it's just, man, it's a lot going on in this world that we choosing not to see, and we don't dig in above the surface, right? We just look at what it is for the surface of what it is, and don't take a deep dive into it.
yeah, yeah. It's we see you, brother Riley. Thank you for joining, man. Me and Montel just chopping it up, kind of rehashing some things that have either happened this week or just talking about. Uh, be honestly the value that we've been providing folks on this stream, right? And just wanted to make sure that we continue to do that. But yeah, there is a dual standard for folks looking to come here, and this is a relevant topic to have a conversation to have around this holiday that's coming up. Which
Yes,
again, I mean, again, this year for some, well, I know what reason, but this year just don't feel like singing. My pledge just this year. I'm gonna be
hey,
respectful because listen,
yeah,
my dad served in the military and he had to do some things and right. Listen, right. So I want to be respectful for the folks that had to do what they had to do. But that was Siri talking. Why? See Siri. Why she waking up? Let's see. Why?
no. What I do is I respect the military, and I respect our country to the fullest, but also acknowledge that we have some issues and some flaws as well that that we choose to ignore
Yeah.
in the mass media. Us people of color, we recognize it. We
True.
understand those things are going on.
Because we
But
deal
for
with
the
it all the time.
masses, yeah, for the masses, they kind of, they mask the whole situation and the understanding. Like I said, I really do. I just, not that I have a problem with it. It's hard to understand why we're so welcoming to one immigrant and we're not welcoming to the others when the situations are maybe not the same, but they are very similar.
Right. Folks, feel free
So,
to chime
so
in, folks, if you want to in the comments
yeah,
as well. Again, Montel and I just chopped it up about some things.
yeah. So it's weird. It's strange. It's strange to me. I have a hard time swallowing that pill, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. Because like those Haitians that were turned down at the San Antonio border or the Texas border, those are people that look like us.
Yes,
If
sir.
they didn't have any accent, they would be just like us,
hmm
and yet they were corralled like cattle, guy running around on horses trying to corral them in a circle and making them live out there in tents for so many years before they turned them away and all that stuff. That doesn't make sense to me, especially when you give a warm, open arms to Ukrainians.
Yeah. It's a valid conversation, valid situation right there. What's happening to you, tall boy? Appreciate you for joining in as well, man. Um, we just chopping it up, but it's time to stand up and make notice of what's going on, right, folks? We've talked about this for a number of years, not just President 44, not just President 45, not just President 40. Listen, if you are of age, please make sure you're registered to uh, fill in those ovals and make a change. Right? Make some noise. Vote when you can, where you can. Start up your own think tanks, grassroots efforts, whatever. Right? Just find folks who are willing and able and concerned about society and concerned about their neighborhoods, their communities, and say you're sick and tired of it, right? You just if you're not happy with the way things are going in your neck of the woods and in San Diego and Sacramento and Atlanta, wherever the case may be, the best way to do it is to talk to legislation. Maybe get into legislation yourself. Look, folks, come on now. Go. We can use a lot of new blood, new folks out there in these legislative halls, and I would love to see a James Riley or Corey Sanders or Montel Allen up there, and in the House of Representatives representing us. I think that's really what needs to happen. Again, we're completely going off of a sports dialogue or conversation, but we're talking social impact and a lot of things that we've talked about deal with social impact. But uh, where we can make that impact within society is to make sure that we are being heard. So don't just
Yes.
be silent. One thing that we are definitely doing, I think, and I said this before, we can't, me and Montel can't change the world, but what we can do, we can influence within we can educate within our sphere of influence, is what I call it. And that by using this platform, by using this podcast, this video infocast, we are reaching folks. And again, letting these awkward conversations be heard, letting dialogue happen. We agree, we disagree, we come to some type of consensus. So we are doing in my crazy mind, we are doing some of our part to try to change the trajectory of what's going on. Because we
I would concur, except for the part of me being in office. I don't know if I want to
come
take
on,
a
brother, come
political
come on, brother.
stand.
Listen,
You know, I do want to have an opinion, like you said, but I do agree with you 100%. People do need to vote, but I also think people need to express their opinions and be real with their opinions and what they share, what they, how they feel about it. I think again, we always go approach it by being the nice way, right? We don't want to talk about color, race, sexuality, and all those stuff
mm,
until it directly affects.
right?
But we need to hit it beforehand. We need to hit it right when when the situation hits. Like I said, just this immigration thing, that's just one subtlety that's going on. I still have a problem with the Brianna case in Kentucky.
That's right.
That poor woman got shot in that situation. Her situation hasn't been resolved.
Yep, yep.
We're still feeling the ill effects of what happened to George Floyd. We still got all these things going on, which is pretty crazy. That we kind of, now that we kind of got over the rioting or the looting or the people out there protesting, but now those situations still are occurring. We still have these same situations still going on.
Yeah,
We still have all this stuff going on, and no one wants to talk about it. And now we have Roe versus Wade. Now we have people telling other people what to do with their bodies and how to address that. And one hand, again, want to be pro-life on one end of the spectrum, but then be pro-death on the other one when it comes to death penalty.
yeah,
I don't understand. That's so conflicting to me. How you want to be in those scenarios, and no one wants to talk about it. That's why we're having these protests and these people marching and these situations going on. And I'm glad it's kind of being shown the light. I mean, those police officers in LA shoved that one actress lady. She brought a lot of attention
yeah,
to the situation. I think that's going to even spark more conversations and talks about what's going on, about pro-life and all of those things, or pro-choice, I should say, in those instances. I mean, man, we just got to be able to start having these conversations, because if we don't have these conversations, we're letting those 9 people in the Supreme Court dictate how we're supposed to live our lives, and that's not what I don't think the United States is supposed to be all about.
I agree. I wanted you to finish your statement there, but I want to acknowledge Hit the spot 10:06. Shouts out to Tammy Chambers. Y'all know I love me some Tammy Chambers, and she in the building. She says the old blood has to pass the baton, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to do that, right? So Corey Sanders, Tall Boy, is saying, the older generation just doesn't want to pass that torch. So
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes we got to blow that torch out and replace it ourselves. You know, I mean, we can't keep. I mean, they're there for life, and I think that's wrong. There shouldn't be no one should have the job for their life until they're ready to retire. If the president of the United States can only go for 4 years or 2-year terms, why do they get to go for all these terms? Why is Mitch McConnell still in the Senate? Mitch McConnell still in the Senate? That doesn't make any sense to me, man. Those people it should be replaced and done and over and again, and new blood should be able to resurface with new ideas, new ideologies, new thoughts, new processes, and everything.
because
I mean,
they're so out of touch with what's going
yes,
on around them. They're so out of touch with their constituents. And again, I didn't mean to cut you off, man, but I just want to say, you think about it. The majority of folks in each of their districts, and I know this to be true, don't go out there and vote because they don't think that they can change. They can make a change. So it's the old school, old boy network. It's the Mitch. I don't necessarily want to mention folks' names. I'll let we can, but y'all know who we talk about. But it's them same cats that go out there and vote for them. That same small subsection, when the majority is just saying, you know what, it's been like this for 8 terms, 30 plus years. It's not gonna happen. Now think about that. If the old school folks that have said there'll never be a black president have thought that and didn't get out
yeah.
there.
Uh,
Right. See, that's kind of where I'm thinking. But go
there's
ahead. I just
progress.
wanted to put that
No,
out there.
no, I agree. There is progress, but it's not enough. I mean, look at us in technology.
Yeah.
Just think technology is the same. Well, we simulate technology.
Yeah.
It changed so fast, and we have to adjust to the change of times, right? Because that's the new way of doing things in life. You know, we got to think. 20 years ago, we didn't have cell phones and text messages and all that. We had beepers. Now look at us now. Our phones are computers. We adjust to life to be able to be there and do things like that. Those need to be the same way in politics. We're still going on these old white, let's call it what it is. Old white men are creating the laws and rules for everybody in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And there needs to be change. Women should have a voice. People of color should have a voice. And old white people should have old white men should have a voice as well. But they all need to have a voice, not just all white men having a voice.
Yeah.
Into what we're doing. I mean, I'm so disappointed that that one Supreme Court judge that we have. I don't even want to mention his name, but that
I'll mention his name. He not like 45. I won't mention 40. See, listen, folks.
Yeah.
Look, if y'all lean left, right, center, then that's all you. That's all good. But that, Clarence Thomas is
Man, that's a dude.
Somebody need to talk to. I'm gonna put it this way: somebody need to talk to Clarence Thomas because that man is conflicted. And we can pray for him. We can pray for him. But I really worry about, honestly, I would bringing it back to Team No Sleep. I bring it back to his mental state. I wonder if something from a mental perspective is going, because we always talk about that. This man, something ain't right. He can't get right. He can't get right.
Bruh,
I don't know.
Bruh, that's
He's sellout. These comments.
That's sellout to them. I don't care. Nobody say they can hate me all they want, or you can be pro him.
I'm the one trying to make sure we get
sponsorships
and the endorsements, but that's okay.
He's a sellout, and that's my 100% opinion. He's a sellout. He's a sellout to his race. He's a sellout to his community.
Mom said he's strangling the fence, boy. Mom said he right on the fence, guy.
I'm just telling him the way it is. To me, he's a sellout. He's a sellout to our community. He doesn't benefit us. He hasn't benefited us with the decisions he's made as African American people at all. And the view on that, he hasn't benefited in none of his decisions to society as a great. He goes to one side, which has been the traditional side of those traditional white men. He hasn't did anything to actively do anything great for being there for women, being there for people, for gay rights, being there for African American rights, brown people rights. No, he hasn't done anything
for anything.
He just
he has not taken the platform that he has for life.
Yes.
Right. like we talked about just now, he has not taken the platform that he has for life and actually done anything of relevance. Just hasn't. right?
Not the benefit,
He's not the Sotomayor. He's not
not
a
the
oh my gosh, the lady we just lost. I'm blanking on the Supreme Court justice. The
all the person that passed away. Yeah, I know you talking. Yeah, I know you
right.
talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
but yeah, I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. I want to get to these comments because I appreciate folks that. Hey Corey, I know you got a good ear. Talk to me. Can you hear me clearly, man? I want to make sure because you got one of these two, these Rodecaster Pro 2s. Just want to make sure I'm not having any slapback or any echo coming from my side. So talk to me, brother. Well, hold on. Let me sit up straight here. She says, well, the white man is paying him. Dude, that's why he screwed up for his people. The white man, Lord have
mm.
mercy. That's old school Virginia talking right there. That that's old school
Hey,
Virginia right there
I
talking.
mean, I'm just saying, like you said, for a person in that position and have that platform,
Yeah,
why he's not doing not only for, like I said, not just for our people, not just for African American people, just for people in general.
yeah.
Brother, he's just not there, man. And
So
I label him as a sellout because he really goes with the traditional way of things of doing things, which has always been pro old white school, old white.
so
You
let me
know,
let me ask this. Let me bring it back to sports here. Why is it that now the expectation is that our culture, our society, our age brackets, 30, 40, 50, whatever the case may be, don't expect to really get movement from legislation, but we will look to our entertainers. We will look to the LeBron James. We will look to the Samuel L. Jacksons. We will look to the Idris
mhm,
Elbas, folks like that. Listen, if you saw the BET Awards the other night, everyone was looking clean and everyone was talking about the Roe versus Wade situation. Why do we almost expect those folks to move the needle more than the folks that are sitting in Washington and in the state capitals and things like that? Why do I expect a LeBron and a Stephen Curry and a whomever, right, an athlete or an entertainer to be the one to drive and move momentum for society? They're just supposed to
because
be entertaining. They're just supposed to be out there playing the game. And again, I'm just
yeah,
asking. I'm just asking questions to kind of spur the conversation.
no,
But
no, no, I hear you. I think because they're influencers, right? We identify with them more so than we identify the people that are up in
mm,
office in the White.
mm,
We identify with what they're doing, whether it be entertaining or be in sports. We identify what they're portraying as a struggle. We identify when they triumph. We identify when they win, when they lose. We empathize with them. We're more in touch with them than any person that's in office. And when they say they have an influence on us to be able to sway us either way, whether
okay,
it be product
yeah.
or influence on anything. I mean, they just have that attachment to us as a society, right?
Let
As
me
us being
so
their family.
right where you're saying right there, and then Corey just put in a comment, and I want to give him some flowers on the particular thing right here. He says because they are visible. Corey has had kind of he is known Miss Mulatto. Everyone knows her by just Lotto now, right? From Atlanta, she came up. She won her first award the other night. She got up on that stage, and I tell you, in 5 minutes, she touched more people's hearts and souls with just her acceptance, her
Mhm.
trueness, her sincerity in the comments that she made. So again, it's those folks that are visible, the folks that are out there with the kids. I'm gonna put a link into this interview that Corey did with Lotto when she was going by Miss Mulatto back in the day. Again, just being in there with society, in there integrating with the children and telling them to do better, telling them that they can be something, to not give up on those dreams. Why is it that I can't look to the Gavin Newsoms? Okay, right. I mean, why can't I look to the governors of our states? Why is it I can't look to the senators of our districts to
Let's
be that
let's let's
person?
be let's be honest. They're out of touch with what we do. Their hands are being greased to make decisions that's not the beneficial for us as people. Let's be real. That's why we have gas prices the way they are, right?
Yeah.
There's no way in the world that you can't say it's society says, you know what, we're putting a cap on gas, whether you like it or not. You don't need to make billions. You can make just instead of making 100 billion, you can make 95 billion. But gas is going to be $5 a pop. Period. They're not going to stop selling to the United States
Yeah.
because we consume so much of it. It just lessens their billions. But you know why they don't do that? Because their hands are greased and say, hey, Just push it going, let the tax go on through. Why do you think we haven't had all these cases against the Rifle Association, NRA? Their hands are greased. All those cases and all those situations that are going on with NRA, you mean to tell me there's no wrongful deaths that can be opposed in court due to the sale of all these arms?
Yeah.
It's impossible. You can get a wrongful suit for drinking hot coffee at McDaniel's. And you mean you can't give me one for these people selling AR-15s?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense
Yeah.
because these politicians, I hate to say it, I don't want to use the word corrupt, but they get paid by these people. These people have such a big influence on the political party, and all that money that's there. No one wants to rock that boat. No one wants to rock that boat at all.
All right. So here's my job as a host to again try to spur interesting conversation, kind of bring it back into topic. We're talking about politicians, we're talking about their influence on society, and we're talking about how celebrities, entertainers, and athletes are the ones that influence the culture. You're talking about money. Now we're talking about let's get back to NIL, right? Let's talk about the Coach Saban, right, and the issues that he's addressed and he's spoken about. Again, he's not necessarily going to benefit as much from NIL because there's nothing happening out there in his neck of the woods compared to like you've said before, compared to a Michigan, compared to, oh Lord, put your seatbelt on. You driving, brother?
Oh yeah, I got you. I got you, bro.
Hey,
Don't worry about
hey,
it.
you know, listen, one time out here in these streets will get you.
We good. Keep going. I'm listening.
Okay. Because listen, I was just in Portland this weekend, and I made they don't. I was in Oregon. They don't speed in Oregon. I'm coming from California trying to drive like I drive, and everybody in Oregon drives the speed limit. Me and my son, we trying to move. We trying to get to where we need to be, brother. And I put the pedal down just a little bit, a couple of times, and shown up, they drive Camaros and Corvettes, the police in Oregon. Just so y'all know. Let me just drop that on you right there. So don't go to Corvallis or Newport or Portland trying to act a fool out there on them streets. So again, kind of what I was saying about that, right? Talking about money, how money wins and how money talks, and a couple of comments have come through. I think Tammy has said some things, and Corey has said some things, and James has said some things. Again, money just seems to not be I don't want to keep saying the root of all evil, like it's been said before, but it just is so impactful on getting things done, and regardless of if it's right or wrong, it still all boils down to how many endorsements you're giving me, whose lobby you're part of or I'm part of, and you gonna pay for this new field. We need this all-weather field. Well, okay, we like guns around here, so if you want that new all-weather field, right? So why does it have to be that way? Why is that the determining factor instead of just doing right? But
doing right doesn't pay the bills, man. It doesn't pay the bills, unfortunately.
Doing right doesn't pay the bills.
It doesn't. And then when you want more,
come on now,
out of things, and you want more things and more to get more for supposedly for your city or for the things that you're fighting for, money comes into play. It's all about money at that point. So in order for me to, everybody got their price. Let's just keep it honest. Everyone has their price in doing things. So if everybody has their price, when you meet my price, then I expect things to be done. And those things are going to be done. I mean, that goes all the way back, since we can remember, the power of financial, getting financials to be able to do the things you want to do, or be able to grease your pockets and live a lifestyle that you want to live, will always take influence over the things that people that you have nothing to do with, you have no touch with.
Yeah.
So you don't care if they suffer.
No, you're right.
Poor people, they don't care about. If they don't touch poor people, they think poor people they're there. They're just there. Matter of fact, they think they're just feeding off the system. So if you're not in touch with those people, or you have any connection to them, then you basically the out of sight, out of mind kind of ideology, right? So if that's the case, I'm getting my hands greased. I can say no to whatever's going on and benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say yes to everything that's going to benefit me and benefit the people that are giving me money.
Wow.
And I'm going to be honest with you. Let's be honest with each other. Somebody gave us $1 million right here to talk about Team No Sleep and say, you know what? don't mention anything controversial again. I think we would have to consider why we're going to be mentioning anything controversial ever again.
Oh, we'd have to have a couple of conversations. And Brother Riley says it right here. Look, listen, let's flash back. Cash rules everything around me, boys. Old Wu Tang, the old man. Yeah, that's true.
If it don't make
It is
dollars, it
true.
don't make sense, right? Ain't that what they say? If it don't make dollars, it don't make
Golly,
sense. So if it's
golly.
making money, you tend to focus on how you would kind of implement it. And like I said, we would be victims of the same thing. Like I said, if someone gave us the right price to say to quit talking about certain things, we would probably discuss and say we maybe not going to talk about it again if it's the right price. Especially when if it doesn't physically or directly affect us. You know,
And
so
okay. I agree to that to an extent. To an extent,
yes.
I think that we are of sound moral and sound upbringing, though, that we would start talking about Matt. Right? We
Yeah.
wouldn't start going down some crazy uh, conspiracy theory type of wing of dialogue. But if someone said, yeah, we could have a conversation, or we could not have conversations. If the majority of if the community decided they didn't want us to do that, we would have to have that dialogue. But we wouldn't start
Mhm.
talking about stuff that just was just off the wall, bat crazy. We would, yeah. That's an interesting thing, man. Yeah, we would either just
Yeah.
stop everything altogether, or completely just pivot and go in a whole different direction. I pose that
That's
to the folks that are listening and watching right now. There's a gang of folks listening and watching. I see y'all on Twitter too. I mean, come on over here to
yeah.
YouTube and Facebook and join in the conversation.
I'm I'm just being, I'm being a realist when it comes to the situation. I just really believe
Yeah,
that's the way people think. I mean, I hate to say it. I hate to say that I would even be guilty of it, but it's truthful. If someone provided me with some things, I mean, definitely there's some things I would talk about regardless because that's just my ethics and my
yeah,
morals.
yeah.
But I believe though, if someone said, "Hey, you know what? On Team No Slip, we're gonna give you guys $1 million, but never talk about Deshaun Watson again. Never talk about that situation again." I'm like, all right, well, we're not gonna
We're
talk
gonna
about
fill the
Deshaun
hour up for
Watson
something
again.
else.
Yes,
Don't
yeah, we're
make
gonna
it.
we're gonna have to pivot regardless of how the
Oh man,
situation goes.
yeah,
We're never gonna mention. We're not gonna mention it. So I do believe those kind of powers are in place in a lot of things,
yeah,
and especially politics when it comes to that way. So I mean, is it it is what it is, bad, good, or indifferent. That's the way it is.
yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not. So when those things happen, we gotta figure out how to adjust and kind of go with it. I'm just disappointed because I think in all those things we lose the thought of humanity. We don't do right what's for humanity instead of we doing
Mm,
right for different causes.
okay.
And that's the frustrating part about things. What's the right thing for us as humanities, us as humans, instead of what's right for NRA or what's right for the alcoholism or what's right for cannabis.
Yeah.
What's right for us as humans? When are we gonna get back to that part? And what's right for humanity?
Wow. Um. No. I think I mean, if anyone knew that answer, right, they'd either have all six of the lotto numbers, or they'd be the one. They'd be the one sitting in 1600 Pennsylvania, or whatever. But at the end of the day, man, we still can't stop. Right? We can't give up hope. We have to continue to move forward. We have to continue to, yes, have these conversations, because even tonight in this impromptu stream that we're doing, we're bringing up again those awkward dialogues and making people think about race relationships. Lord, I got a knife in my. Don't trip, y'all.
Look at you. Look at you.
It's just my new unboxing knife, so I got some gear to unbox. So don't look at me holding this blade. Um, oh, we're having those conversations, and hopefully, even when we get offline, folks will take 10 minutes and just think about it, and then maybe share that with somebody. Like James is saying right here, right? The struggle continues, right? It's each day when we get up, we have an opportunity to try to make a difference,
Yep.
and don't waste that opportunity, because one of these days you're not gonna wake up.
That's a great way to end, right? That's a great way.
Man,
That's a great way to end the show, man. To be honest with you,
there it
that,
is, huh?
that it don't get no better than that, man. To be honest with you.
See, and he won't leave with a gang of folks watching, and then, but okay, see how you do. He won't leave y'all hanging. There it is. So okay, this is what we gonna do. This is what we gonna do. I'm gonna do a little call to action. See, I got them triggers working right. I got okay. Hopefully, I get all this stuff right before my interview tomorrow. But yes, Team No Sleep every Tuesday, y'all, 6:30 p.m. Uh, Tuesday evenings, Pacific Coast time. Right? We in California, so we started at this time. I know y'all East Coast folks probably getting ready to go to sleep. You know, probably getting ready to I don't know, do what y'all do, but still join us 6:30 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays, and again exclusively now on the Team No Sleep YouTube channel. So that is where we are going to be. Echo in the scene, James. Hold on. I see what's going on. Boom, there it is. Again, RCP.
Oh, yeah.
There. Okay, RCP two.
Sound way
There.
better now. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there it is. I saw what was going on. Um, not only do we have that going on, right, moving specifically to the Team No Sleep YouTube channel, I'll still be pushing this out to my Facebook and my Twitter. Montel will also be doing the same. But this particular show will not be on my particular YouTube channel anymore. I'm niching down and going to be real uh, attentive to the community that has gotten me to a specific kind of just what we were just talking about, right? Right. And the
Yeah,
community has gotten paying a couple of these bills around here, so I gotta be attentive to that particular community, and we're just going to be attentive to that and focus on that. Talk to the folks a little bit about your show real quick, man. I don't want you to get into an accident, but talk a little
oh, no, no,
what you guys
we
do.
good, man. I got straight from the horse's mouth. This is a really collectively for high school kids, to kind of bridge the gap and cut out the middleman of information for the recruiting process. So I talked to a lot of coaches to give a lot of tidbits and a lot of insight to what's going on when it comes to recruiting and coaching. We talk everything from NIL to, just how you design your letter to be recruited and so on and so on. So it's a really good show. It's an hour show, man. We try to really give some really insightful information. But the theme is, like I said, let's cut out the middleman for information. Let's get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yes, sir. Listen, that's an amazing show that you've got right there. I see folks. Yeah, y'all know I'm over here pushing buttons and things like that. We see it. Stuart, good to have you, man. Join a live show. You normally come in for the replay squad, but good to have you joining, brother. Uh, I'm gonna give Montel his flowers, man. That's straight from the horse's mouth. I'm in the background doing the production, but he's brought some winners on, and every conversation I've learned something. I think I'm seeing the tick upwards of subscribers and of comments that are coming from just that particular series right there. So if you are interested in any way in sports, especially collegiate non-professional sports, I guess that's what I'm seeing, right? Is for the youth coming out of high school, going into college, trying to weave their way through the system. Montel
Yep,
has definitely brought on the right folks to deal with um, the to help them kind of uh, chart that path. So check that out for sure. We out,
absolutely.
man.
We out. Hey, everyone, sorry about this, the inconvenience of me driving, but I promise next time I'll be in the office. But I definitely want to join this conversation and be a part. I'll never try to let my man James
You
down,
know
even
what
though
I'm
I'm
saying?
driving. We
Yeah,
all good though. I'm gonna still give my opinion, so
yeah.
we
You where
good.
you on the 405 right now? I was telling folks before you got on, you was on that
No,
405 traffic.
I'm in this airport traffic right now,
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
move, bad boy. So that's why I'm looking around to make sure I don't hit nobody. But we
Don't,
good.
don't hit nobody at LAX, man. They don't. It's not a good look, man. You gonna get a ticket for sure. You gonna get a ticket for sure. All right, brother. Listen, we are out. We probably we'll be streaming next week. We'll
Yeah,
have. Unfortunately, I'm sure there'll be something pressing and some massive story that will just rock the world.
I'm working on a special guest for us to have next week anyway. So we'll definitely have some content for y'all to be able to vibe off of and talk about and get some really good information.
I'm gonna leave it at that. We out. Cool.
Yeah.
Take care, y'all.